Hi, NARC troopers. Tonight we're going to talk about the cognitive dissonance and the world of illusion of your narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic ex. I'm going to assume that you have escaped or they have discarded you, and that now that you're out of it, that you can look back on it and see with some amount of clarity what it is you're dealing with. And so when you see this in your in the partner that you gave months or years or decades of your life to, and they suddenly shape shift into this other person that you don't recognize, and this other person who is cruel and cold and absorbing and assimilating all of the characteristics of your replacement, that's kind of how that goes. They replace you, and then they take on all the characteristics of that new person. My ex speaks in a kind of word salad, quasi philosophical, intellectual, hybrid speak that's mixed with a kind of delusional, illusional, just really crazy talk of like a schizophrenic personality disordered person. Maybe with multiple personalities, for all I know. I don't know that, but it sounds like that, because they, oh my gosh, it's like the way that they talk is speaking about reality. My ex tonight texted me and said that these are essentially weird times right now, right, with the election coming up, and the city that we lived in for a large part of our marriage, not the whole time, but we were here about 13 years together, 14 years together out of 16. Lived a couple of years in the Panhandle before we moved here to Austin, and he was talking about how things are changing and how someday we'll look back on it and talk about the old economy and stuff like that. Why would he send that to me? Like, why would he be talking about these things? It's almost as if, I don't know, it's very confusing to see. And the only thing that you can conclude from this talk is that they are so disordered, so out of touch with reality. He said, something like, sometimes I think back to when we were together and I was puttering around with my paintings in the living room. And he said, that's not this reality anymore. Maybe another one. And all I can think to myself is that all these alternate realities and stuff, that all sounds great. It's kind of cool to think about, maybe. But at the end of the day, the only alternate reality that we're talking here is the alternate reality that the narcissist, sociopath, psychopath has, where they are completely living in a magical thinking, brain damaged, their amygdala, prefrontal cortex, their whole limbic system, all screwed up in serious ways. And they're living in this weird false reality with a false self and a false persona, false identity that they have absorbed from whoever their significant source of fuel is at the time. I have many reasons to believe that his current source has him doing the white powder and the amateur sex videos to post for money, and the absolutely unethical, immoral, amoral kind of things that people sometimes who are damaged goods or desperate or something resort to, right? Regular people who have any concept of ethics or standards or morality would not choose to degrade themselves in such ways and feel proud about degrading themselves. So this new world that he's in, this false reality, is so far removed from reality that he has convinced himself that I am the villain, and that I have done something bad or wrong or whatever, and that whatever happened between us was my fault, and that, somehow I'm the bad guy, and that's not what it was. I was a devoted wife, and he was at the center of everything in my life for 16 years, and I was loyal and, forgave him over and over for things that showed I had no healthy boundaries, and that I was overly attached, unhealthily so, very much so. It indicated those kind of things, but it certainly wasn't grounds for dismissal, if you know what I mean, without warning. So, what do I want to tell you? What is my message? Is that I know how hard it is. Your heart goes out to them because you hear them rambling on in this nonsensical, pseudo-babble, crazy, kind of like the homeless people on the corner who are talking to themselves. It's not that far removed from that. And you think, oh my God, this person is so mentally ill, then how can I hate them? And the answer is you can't. You shouldn't. You have to forgive them. Yeah, you have to forgive them and just say, hey, I don't know what happened to you that made you this way, but I'm sorry that you're not okay mentally. I'm sorry you're not capable of being how you need to be, and I'm sorry you felt like you had to exit the relationship and jettison me out of the picture, because I was probably your only chance of being healthy. I was your only chance of getting better and leading some semblance of a conventional, traditional, normal, ethical, moral. We live in a right and wrong kind of world where there's right and there's wrong. It's not just whatever you make up the rules to be. It's not just some hedonistic orgy all the time. It's like we live in a world where there is a higher power that's wanting us to be our best selves. We're not doing it for us. We're doing it because we're called to do it, and we have a purpose, and to help each other. And that when you love somebody, you don't betray them, and you don't hurt them, you don't destroy them, just annihilate them. And so these are not normal people. You can't perceive them that way. And when you know that they're not okay, it's kind of like, why would you be trying to resuscitate the dead? You're trying to bring back to life a person who, for all practical purposes, is no longer among the living, not of this world, not of this reality. And I've often thought he must know. I've read things that he wrote that I found after he left by accident, where probably he doesn't even remember writing them. But he says, I'm a sociopath, I'm sadomasochistic, I'm a sex addict, I'm like, he knew that. He knew what he was. Some part of him knew. But the sicker part overtook that. I can't believe that it was fake, all of it, that whole time. Part of me just, I guess I don't have to believe it, but part of me wants to think he really was trying to be a real boy. He really wanted to be saved. He really wanted to feel love, and that he wanted, that wasn't related to fuel and supply, but like the real love, and that he wanted success, and that he wanted to have a traditional life filled with the things that people fill their lives with. Nice cars, comfortable homes, vacations, you know, some work, some play, some dining out, you know, regular people life. Not living some subculture, gutter-dwelling street life where you're just one step away from being homeless, drugged up, sexed up, with all of your priorities totally fucked up. So stop trying to reason with them, or stop holding out the hope that they're just going to wake up one day and be healed. I used to pray every day for a while here. It's been 16 months, almost a year and a half. I used to pray all the time, Lord, heal him from whatever's wrong with him. Like, help him to snap out of it and to be a normal guy. Just to be a normal guy. You can't. You can't be that. So, be strong, troopers. It's so easy to get lost in that alternate reality. It's not real. It's all fantasy, fiction, and falseness. And they see it and talk about it and spin it and twist it and pull it like taffy, like a time warp, like a complete, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but the way they manipulate it, it makes them be able to live within the confines of that world without just offing themselves, I guess, or being miserable. They're able to function and say, you know, this is one of many realities, and I'm just doing this, and I didn't do that, and I have no accountability for anything I've done to hurt anybody ever, and I'm just doing my thing, and I'm sweet and polite, and I'm a good guy. That's what they say. I'm a good guy. It's not about good or bad. It's about sick and healthy. The longer you stay, the sicker you get. Trust me on that one. I struggle. Trauma, PTSD, the whole thing, you know. It's been the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and I've had to do some hard things. So, let's be real. That's what my message is today. Be real. Don't be like the narcissist and be unreal. Don't be like the sociopath and be living in some fantasy world that's so far removed from truth. There's no truth in that. It's all lies, all deception. It must be awful. But you don't want to be dragged to that place. It would be an awful place to go. And if you have any loved ones or family or children, they're going to watch that and just be absolutely horrified, and it's going to hurt them. They will suffer watching that. So step back, step away, and just accept that they're not well, and that you don't want to join that club of the drug addicted, mentally ill, sexually promiscuous, lost people who just live like dogs because they're not capable of being human. That seems like a harsh thing to say, but it's true. The things that make people human, they don't have those. They have something else. So be strong, say your prayers, hope for the best, look forward. I was telling someone that today. You don't look behind you. My friend Tony came over earlier today and we were talking about don't look behind, just look forward. Don't look behind, just look forward. There may not be much that you think you have to look forward to right now, but that's not going to be like that forever. You know, everything hard will be gone at some point. You know, COVID's going to be over someday. Hopefully I will still be here to see that day. Things are going to change. You're going to change. Let's be open to that. Make it happen. Okay. Thanks, guys, for listening. Have a good night.